And let me hear that again.
Race 1, Thursday nights, 8:45, CBC, TV8. Do it.
The fight back after his stage 3 spin and double puncture on stage 6 was well on the way for Paul Bird. Roger Skeet had been leading the rally but was forced to retire after stage 10 and sit out the rest of the event. Jamaica's Jeffrey Panton was still trading times with England's Steve Perez. Barbados' Sean Gill and Michael Cummins had been rewarded for their consistency and inherited the lead after Roger Skeet's demise. England's Steve Perez held the advantage over Jeffrey Panton to be fourth at the end of the day, albeit by a mere 2 seconds. Paul Bourne had never been outside the overall top 3 during the rally. At the end of day 1, he was third behind Sean Gill and Paul Bird. After his stage 1 mishap, England's Roger Duckworth, who was as low as 75th in the overall standings, finished day 1 on an impressive 8th overall. Northern Ireland's Joe McQuillan was making his Rally Barbados debut this year, and he was second in modified 8A at the end of day 1. Ireland's Martin Donnelly was also making his first appearance at Rally Barbados. After running 4th at lunch, he had moved into 2nd place in Group N by the end of the day. Rally Barbados debutant Raymond Conlon from Ireland in the Toyota Corolla was 5th in Super Modified 10.
100. Lane 2 right in and lane 2 left. 100. Caution, stay left for 4 right plus over crest. Unseen, don't cut. 4 right plus 300. Lane 2 left in, okay. 80 up. 1 right over small crest, 100.
At the end of day 1, England's Nigel Warswick was 6th and holding off a challenge from countryman Martin Stockdale. Jeff Bell from South Africa was back for a 2nd year, and he was 3rd in the historic class at the end of day 1. Gary Thomas was 2nd in the Clubman historic class, but it was clear he was enjoying sliding through the stages in his Ford Escort Mark II in Barbados. Ireland's Matt Shinors and Catherine Levis had climbed 25 overall places by the end of day 1 and were sitting in 3rd position in Super Modified 9.
1 left, 300. Repeat, 300. 3 left and 3 right. Repeat, 3 left and 3 right, 150. Repeat, 3 left and 3 right, 150. Centre for crest. 40 to turn square right. Repeat, 40 turn square right. Into 5 left. Repeat, 5 left. Whoop.
Eric Allenby is now at the helm of a Toyota Corolla, replacing his Mitsubishi Lancer from last year. The brothers Roger and Barry Mears had decided to let one drive an entire day and then switch for the 2nd day. It was Roger Mears who had the driving duties on the 1st day, and he clocked 4 stages in the overall top 10. At the end of day 1, they were 10th overall and 1st in Super Modified 9. Cliff Rowett only managed to complete 3 stages on day 1. England's Andrew Siddle and Wales' Carl Williamson were the leaders of the historic class at the end of the 1st day of Rally Barbados. The Toyota Starlet of Ralph White was proving to be more reliable than in previous years. He was just outside the top 20 and 4th in the very competitive Super Modified 10. Ryan Wood was enjoying his time in the rally. However, he missed stage 7, which put him out of the overall hunt. England's Martin Stockdale was making it his 12th time here, and he was 7th in Super Modified 11. Martin Atwell was competing at Rally Barbados in the newly acquired BMW and was 4th in Super Modified 11 and 18th overall at the end of the day. After finishing the 1st stage, Winston Thompson missed the next 4 stages on day 1, which put him out of the overall hunt in the rally. Graham Manning had moved up 31 places from the start of the rally, and he was 20th overall and 5th in Super Modified 11. Northern Ireland's John Hardman is on his 5th visit to the rally. However, brake issues with the Ford Escort Mark II hampered his progress on day 1. Alan Maynard was 4th in Super Modified 9 at the end of day 1. Ramel Martin was 3rd in Modified 5. Two stages were run at night, Sailor Gully and Pickering. The rally moved to the east of the island for the second day, with the 7.8 kilometer Stewart's Hill and 6 kilometer Kendall to be the two venues being contested.
I ended up leading today. I didn't expect that, so we just have to try our best today. The boys behind are very quick in these stages, and I've never really driven the WRC in these stages, so it's going to be another learning curve for me today.
We'll just go out there, go as fast as we can, enjoy it and see where we end up.
We had a lot of problems, broken diff arms, gearbox had no second gear, one or two other small problems we got sorted out, so hopefully it should be sorted for today.
The map we had on the car didn't suit here with the temperature and the humidity, so the car's been running off and on all of Saturday. We're just glad to be still here, you know, and still in the event, but if we could get the car to run a wee bit better, you know, we'll be pushing on harder, but we just can't get the car to cooperate, you know.
Day 1 was a bit tough. We had to put in a dog box, which was the first time I've ever driven a dog box, so it was a whole entire learning experience for us.
Day 2, what do you think is the plan?
Get to the finish. At the end of the day, that's all we want to do. Just get there, be an overall finisher, and that will make us happy.
We did have a good day 1. The truth is that we had some flat tires, we ran over some rocks and some stuff like that, but we're glad to be here at day 2. The boys tired, we just want to get through and we're trying our best. So what's your plan for day 2?
Me and Roger Hill are both out the rally, so me and him are going to compete against one another. We got a case of beers and a case of Gatorade betted on it, so we'll see how it goes.
All the best.
Thanks.
After the reseeding, first on the road was Sean Gill, who had been the 3rd leader the rally had seen. However, by the end of the first stage on day 2, Gill had lost his slender hold on the lead and slipped to 2nd. The rally lead once again belonged to England's Paul Bird, having held the lead on day 1 in the opening stages. But it wasn't without some scary moments, such as this one. Bird's fight back was complete at the start of day 2. However, he could not relax as both Gill and Paul Bourne were now nipping at his heels. It was Paul Bourne who was leading the attack as Gill slipped from 1st to 3rd. Bourne was the other driver to claim fastest times on the stages which Bird did not win. The margin at the lunch halt was 5 seconds, and this meant that there was still all to drive for after lunch. We can hear that something is clearly wrong with the Suzuki SX4 WRC of Sean Gill as he creeps along the Kendall stage. His rally ended shortly afterward. England's Steve Perez continued his seesaw battle with Jamaica's Jeffrey Panton on day 2. The two swapped positions on numerous occasions throughout the day. However, it was Panton that held the advantage at the midway point of day 2. His lead over Perez was a mere second. Neil Armstrong had worked his way into the overall top 5 with a stellar performance thus far. As he ripped through the stages, only once was he not the fastest two-wheel drive through, and that was on the opening stage of day 2 when Stuart Maloney held that honor. Positions were swapped for day 2 for brothers Roger and Barry Mears, and it was Barry's turn to take on the driving duties in the Toyota Starlet. Darrell Clark was leading Modified 7 by just under 20 seconds by the midway point on day 2. Brian Gill was 12th overall and second in Super Modified 11 after 17 stages, adrift by 23 seconds from class leaders Logan and Rhett Watson. James Betts was 13th overall in the standings and third in Super Modified 11, 46 seconds adrift of second place Brian Gill. Neil Corbin was in devastating form in Modified 6, easily leading the class by just shy of 2 minutes. Avinash Chatrani was the clear leader of Modified 8A with a cushion of about 6 minutes in the class. He was also 20th overall by the midway point. Scotland's Kenny Hall has only missed one trip to compete in Rally Barbados since he started in 2002. In his Ford Puma, he was second in Modified 6. Adrian Linton was third in Modified 7, adrift of second place by about 36 seconds. After lunch on day 2, the Netherlands' Frans Verbaas in the Mini Cooper was the leader of Group B at the end of day 1 and continued to lead for the rest of day 2. With 7 non-finishes over the last 7 years, Jeremy Gonzalez finally broke the spell and completed Rally Barbados as an overall finisher. He was also second in Modified 6. The father and son team of Norman and Kyle Catwell in the Volkswagen Golf GTI saw them finish 4th in Modified 7 after sharing the duties in the car. As for Scotland's Alan McKay, well, he let the Ford Anglia do the talking. And finished the rally in grand style. He was 5th in Super Modified 10. If you looked closely at the top of his car, you would see a Banks beer can stuck to it. Ireland's Raymond Conlon made sure everyone at the duck pond knew just how much he was enjoying it too. He finished 4th in Super Modified 10. Stuart White was 3rd in the historic class in his newly acquired BMW. Jeremy Croney in the Peugeot 206 was the winner of the Clubman class. Owen Cumberbatch had posted some impressive stage times just outside the top 10 on day 2. Jamal Brathwaite also completed all the stages on day 2, but he missed one on the first day, which ended his hopes of an overall classification. Jamaica's Jeffrey Panton and Michael Fennell Jr. were 3rd overall, and they posted the fastest times on the 2 final stages of the rally. Paul Bourne and Megan Bryant in the 2007 Ford Focus WRC were the highest Bajan pair. And only when the Focus started to overheat late in the final day did Bourne give up a hope of catching or even forcing Paul Bird into a mistake. England's Paul Bird and Scotland's Christy Riddick in the 2008 Ford Focus WRC are the 2012 Sol Rally Barbados champions, having battled from as far down as 8th place and winning 11 of the 21 stages contested. Bird finished 12 seconds ahead of second place Paul Bourne, and his total elapsed time was 1 hour, 2 minutes, 50.60 seconds. Congratulations to Paul Bird and Christy Riddick from the Race 1 team.
I've never felt this good before, actually. I didn't know what it would ever... I always wondered what it would feel like to win this rally, and you watch other people win every year and it looks pretty good, and now it's happened here. Best feeling ever. Better than winning like the British Championship or by 20 times, 100 times.
This is our final show for the season, and we want to thank our sponsors: Preconco Limited, Easy Pay, Simpson Motors, Belleville Auto Spears, Chafette Restaurants, Centile, and NASCO Limited. Thank you so much. We will be back in September, as long as we get some sponsorship. Thanks to our viewers, our fans, our supporters. Thanks to the CBC. Thank you all from the Race 1 team.
You are watching Race 1.